In January 2022, the world got a terrifying reminder of what these monsters are capable of. A volcano under the ocean near Tonga erupted with such violence that it was heard in Alaska, nearly 10,000 kilometers away. The explosion, bigger than any nuclear bomb ever detonated. A tsunami raced across the Pacific, waves 2 meters high, crashing into the coast of Peru, thousands of kilometers from the source. And yet, as destructive as it was, that eruption was nowhere near the most powerful our planet has seen. So what would happen if something much, much bigger erupted in our lifetime? That's what we're about to find out, to compare eruptions. Geologists use something called the Volcanic Explosivity Index, the VE. Think of it like the Richter scale for volcanoes. It's open-ended in theory, but in practice we measure from 0 to 8, VEI 0. Runny, gentle lava flows, like those from Mauna Loa in Hawaii. Not harmless, but not explosive. VE 2, Mount Etna in Sicily. Small but noticeable blasts of ash and rock. VE 3, Soufriere Hills, which buried parts of Montserrat under ash in the 1990s. VE. For a Jafjallage Gill in Iceland, the eruption. That grounded air travel across Europe in 2010, the Tonga eruption of 2022, that's a VE 5, the same category as the 1980 Mount St. Helens disaster. A massive plume of ash rising 58 kilometers into the atmosphere and nearly 2 cubic kilometers of rock blasted into the sky. But even that is just the middle of the scale. VE. 6 events are even more destructive, like Mount Pinatubo in 1991, which cooled the planet for years, or Krakatoa in 1883, whose ash turned sunsets blood red around the world. VE 7 eruptions are rarer still, supercolossal in scientific terms. The 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora killed tens of thousands directly, and tens of thousands more indirectly, plunging the world into the year without a summer in 1816. Crops failed. Famine spread, and temperatures dropped globally. But above all of this, in the most terrifying category, sits VE 8. VEI 8 events are called supervolcanic eruptions. Mega-colossal blasts involving more than 1,000 cubic kilometers of ejected material. That's over 500 times what Tonga produced in 2022 when they erupt. They punch ash and gas high into the stratosphere, shrouding the planet in a haze that reflects sunlight away. The result? Years, sometimes decades of global cooling. Crops fail, food supplies collapse, and entire civilizations could be pushed to the brink. Thankfully, they are rare. Only about 20 known supervolcanoes exist on Earth, and eruptions happen only once every tens of thousands of years. On average, but rare doesn't mean never. The last supereruption we know of happened around 26,000 years ago in New Zealand. It created Lake Taupo, a vast crater 46 kilometers across. Before that, around 74,000 years ago, came one of the largest known eruptions in Earth's history, Toba, in Sumatra, Indonesia. Toba's eruption may have ejected more than 2,000 cubic kilometers of material, enough to bury an entire country under meters of ash. Some scientists believe it caused a century-long volcanic winter and may have reduced the global human population to just a few thousand individuals. That theory, called the Toba catastrophe hypothesis, is debated. But there's no debate about this. If an eruption like Toba's happened today, the impact on agriculture, climate, and society would be devastating. Toba and Topo aren't the only threats. In North America, the Yellowstone supervolcano has erupted 3 times in the last 2 million years, the most recent being 640,000 years ago. Each time it left a massive caldera, the Yellowstone we see today. If Yellowstone erupted on the same scale now, huge swaths of Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho would be obliterated by pyroclastic flows, clouds of ash and rock moving at hundreds of kilometers per hour. Ash would fall across the continent. The climate impact is potentially catastrophic: cooling for years. Scientists constantly monitor Yellowstone for signs of unrest, earthquakes, ground swelling, changes in volcanic gases. But here's the problem. Yellowstone is so active geologically that small earthquakes and uplift happen all the time. We don't actually know what the precise warning signs of a supereruption would be. In Europe, the Phlegrean fields near Naples are a complex of ancient calderas capable of massive eruptions. They last erupted on a supervolcanic scale around 39,000 years ago, an event some think may have contributed to the extinction of the Neanderthals. And then there's Santorini in Greece. Its crescent-shaped island is the remnant of a V7 eruption around 1600 BC, a disaster that devastated the eastern Mediterranean and may have inspired the legend of Atlantis. Fast forward to February 2025, Santorini was evacuated after hundreds of earthquakes rattled the island. The strongest, a magnitude 5, more than 11,000 people fled in just a few days. Scientists rushed to investigate the volcano's hydrothermal system, mapping the hidden connections between the magma chamber and the seafloor. No human has ever witnessed a supervolcanic eruption. It means scientists are working in the dark. When it comes to predicting them, even smaller eruptions can be unpredictable. Tonga 2022 gave off warning signs, smaller blasts, and an earthquake, just 15 minutes before the main event. But they weren't recognized for what they were at the time, and even if we could predict a supereruption a month in advance, that might be enough to evacuate people nearby. But the global consequences? There's no evacuation from a volcanic winter.